Hello everyone, thank you for tuning in to episode 2 of the 12 months 12 cars challenge. I'm here with the beautiful £174 Focus, and today I'm going to have a look at trying to diagnose the power steering fault. We're going to have a look at the fluid level by taking the headlight out to get to the reservoir, which seems to have caused a bit of controversy amongst some of you. I was quite vocal in the first video about the ridiculousness of having to remove a headlight in order to access the power steering fluid. But that was not because I think it's going to be difficult to get the headlight out. In fact, it does look like a very clever piece of design, as one person commented. However, fluid checks are a basic need for any car, and you should be able to carry them out at the side of the road with very minimal fuss. And having to take parts off to get to a fluid reservoir doesn't count as minimal fuss in my view. Anyway, we're going to have a look at the fluid, see what kind of condition it's in, see if it needs topping up, and then I'm going to also connect diagnostic equipment to the car and see if there's any fault codes stored for the steering system. It's also had a bit of a clean since the last video. Some of you may have saw, if you're following the thread on piston heads or the beige, then you've probably seen that it's looking a lot shinier. But I'll turn the camera around and I'll give you a closer look. So here we are, look at that then. Beautiful shining black paint. In this light it doesn't actually look too bad. I mean, there is a little bit scratched, a little bit crazed, as I was kind of expecting it to be when I did the last video. Once all the dirt came off, we realised it was not quite as clean as it looks, but when it's shiny, it doesn't look too bad. I think a good polish would see it right, to be honest. We'll talk a little bit more about this ungrateful little heap of crap in another video. It's a project that hasn't quite gone as expected, that one. In the interior, much cleaner, much better for a Hoover. The seats still aren't 100%. I think they'd benefit from a little bit of a shampoo, but all the plastics and stuff are far better. All that dust is gone. And the dash, I think the dash shows the biggest difference. It was thick with dust up here. That's all gone. It's looking quite nice now. And we've got a definitely legit air freshener. Sweet melon. I'm sure that's a genuine magic tree there. But it's looking very good. I mean, it's a bit of a transformation. The wheels though, they've definitely seen better days. I mean, dire need of refurbishment. I don't think there'll be time or budget for that to happen here, but hopefully the next owner will see fit to tart them up a little bit. Okay then, let's get the diagnostics plugged in, see if it can tell us anything more about the power steering fault. The diagnostic port should be located in here, which it is. There isn't. I was expecting there to maybe be a bit of trim over it or something, but there's not, so it's usually a sign that someone's been here before. If we plug in there, and we put the key on, turn the lights off. Okay, and read fault codes. Okay, we have steering angle sensor open circuit intermittent. CAN communication bus fault receiver. Now that one could be a little bit more severe, I would suspect. But steering angle sensor, that could be the cause of our problem. Unless we do have a wiring loom issue. Any fault codes that relate to the CAN bus itself would scare me a little bit. What I'm going to do, I think, is I'm going to clear the codes. Okay, so that has come straight back. Steering angle sensor open circuit. Okay then, let's get to the dreaded steering pump. See what's going on. Open the bonnet. When I went to pick this car up, I actually forgot that this era Ford had this strange bonnet release behind the badge. Put the key in, turn it one way, turn it the other way, and the bonnet lifts up. I suppose it makes sense, don't need to run a cable into the car which then breaks and leaves you unable to open the bonnet. I do wonder if these are whatever mechanism they've got behind the badge would be just as likely to develop problems though. Okay then, the dreaded headlight. Take this one screw out. And it just slides out. Simple as that. Okay, one headlight. And you're honestly not that difficult to get to. Power steering reservoir is there, directly underneath the headlight. There's absolutely no way you'd be able to access that without taking the headlight out. I don't care how easy it was, that's shameful. Absolutely shameful. Anyway. Well, there's certainly fluid in there. No dipstick though, which is helpful. Let's see if we can see the level. Yeah, there's definitely plenty of fluid in there. And it looks clean. A lot of people were saying that it's quite common for people to fill these up with the wrong fluid. If it has the red stuff, it tends to kill the seals and stuff like that. But I think that's alright. Certainly the right level of fluid in there. Looks clean enough. So I think we need to find out where the steering angle sensor is and go from there. I think it's important before we go any further to analyse and understand what the diagnostic equipment has told us. It's told us that the onboard diagnostics in the car is reporting that there is a problem with the steering angle sensor. That doesn't mean that the next step is to go ahead and replace that sensor. That I think a lot of people come unstuck here. The OBD reader tells them circuit X is faulty or sensor Y is faulty, and their immediate reaction is to go away, buy a sensor, put it on, and it doesn't work. I've been guilty of it myself in the past. You know, I think we all look for a quick fix, but you can't stop there. Just because it tells you on the screen that that's what's wrong, and main dealers make this mistake. You know, it's throwing parts at stuff. Well, if you know the customer's picking up the bill, so it doesn't matter, and that's how you end up with huge bills for repairs of fairly minor faults. So the next step, before we do anything else, we're going to find the steering angle sensor. We're going to test check the condition of the wiring, test the wiring to make sure that the circuit between it and the control unit for the power steering is okay, because if you've got a broken wire, a damaged wire, changing the sensor is never going to make any difference. And then we're going to make a judgment from then as to the best way to proceed. Okay, I've done some digging and I found the steering angle sensor, which if we come underneath the car is on where the steering column joins the steering rack, just here, and it has a 3-pin electrical plug attached. Now, given that the diagnostics are reporting open circuit, there's either a problem with the sensor, a problem with where the signal ends up, which is at the pump, or a problem with the wire that runs between this sensor and the steering pump. To test the wiring, taken the multi-plug, put 3 probes in it, 1 for each wire. I have a multimeter here set up to test for continuity, and when it finds continuity it beeps like so. So we have this connected up to another probe here, and if I clip this onto the yellow wire, I take the torch, this is the multi-plug from the power steering pump, this white one, and I can probe the wire, probe the connector, the multimeter beeps, so we have continuity, and I've done that for all 3, which proves the wire that runs between the pump and the rack is fine, there's nothing wrong with it. So we either have a problem with the pump in that it's unable to receive the signal from the steering angle sensor, or the steering angle sensor itself is faulty. So I've tested the wiring for the steering angle sensor and it's fine. The signal will definitely be getting from the sensor to the pump as it should, because there's continuity as expected. There's no sign of any breaks in the wire. Everything looks to be fine. So then it's a couple of days later, and I was hoping to present to you the fix for this car. However, the parts haven't arrived yet. But in summary, where we're at, we've diagnosed that there's more than likely a problem with the steering angle sensor circuit. I've managed to verify that the wiring for the steering angle sensor is fine. There's no problems with it at all. And we're left with 2 options. We either have a faulty steering angle sensor, which is the nice, cheap, easy, clean option. That'll be 10 minutes work to swap that out for another one. Pump is the control unit for the power steering system, and it's possible, and I've seen reports in the past that other people have had this problem with the Focus, and they've been the control unit that's been faulty, in which case we'll need to replace the pump. I have ordered both a steering angle sensor and a pump. The steering angle sensor was £29, the pump was £23, both second hand, taken from working scrap cars that weren't scrap because the steering system was faulty. They should be here within a few days, and hopefully, I'm hoping it is the sensor, because replacing the sensor is nice and easy. The pump, we're going to have to drain the fluid, we're going to have to get a bit dirty doing all that stuff. And the pump looks like it's not in the most accessible position in terms of getting the pipes on and off, that kind of stuff. Obviously with it being underneath the headlight. But either way, I don't think this old girl's fit for the scrapyard just yet, and I'm hoping that she's going to be back on the road with a full bill of health shortly. Join me next time, where we'll hopefully actually repair this car. And until then, like, share, subscribe, please spread the word, and let's get as many people as possible watching this ridiculous journey. Thank you very much for watching.